channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Mika. Thank you so much for stopping in. So today let's talk about failure being important for success. You have to allow yourself to fail in order to be successful at anything. And believe me, failure doesn't feel good. It can be discouraging at times, but it's all in the way that you decide to look at it. Are you looking at failure as, this is not for me? Are you looking at failure as, I can't do this? Are you looking at failure as, this is too much, this is too hard, I'm throwing in the towel? How are you looking at failing? You see, what I learned was, when I fail at something, that's opportunity to grow. I don't care who's laughing. I don't care who's not paying me any attention. I don't care who's doubting me. I don't care who's even trying to say, girl, you just maybe need to try something else. I don't care, because that gives me strength. If I know I want it, I know it's going to come with failure. And failure is not something that you should look at as the end of the world. Failure is not something you should look at as, okay, well, maybe if I don't get it right the first or the second time, I need to just give up. Failure is just it's training you. It's a personal area for growth. When you change your mind about how you're looking at failure, you can train yourself to learn from that failure instead of seeing failure as failure. No matter what you do in life, failure is necessary. When you're having children, we all say it. When you have multiple children, what do you say? Oh, that's my first one. That's where I made all my mistakes. But you've grown and you got better with that child, and then you got better with the next child, and you got better with the next child, and so on. Maybe when you've been in relationships, we all been in multiple relationships. There's very few of us who can honestly say, oh, they only been one person in their life. They got with their high school sweetheart and they've been together forever or up until this point. Very few. So many of us have been through relationships, even if it wasn't, romantic relationships, just boyfriend, girlfriend, innocent relationships. We've been through friendships. We've been through, all kinds of ships, that we've been through. And we've learned from them. You may be like, oh, I did this with that person, or I hurt that person, or this person done this to me. And so you're cautious now. That's a part of learning. Yeah, that relationship may have failed, maybe because you guys were not compatible, you wasn't meant to be, or whatever the case was, that person's season was over in your life, but you learned from it. And if you start looking at things in life, whether it comes to your career, things that you want to do personally for yourself, or just anything around you that matters to you, if you start looking at the times that you fail as something that you can learn from, and something that you can take those experiences and apply it to something else in life, or apply it back to that situation and do it better next time, then you won't look at failure as something bad. You will welcome it. I welcome failure, because it's no fun when everything is perfect, is it? When you go into a situation, you go into a new job, when you go into a friendship, and you just perfect all around. There's no room for mistake. There's no room for let's talk about this. There's no room for, hey, I didn't like this. Let's try it this way. There's no room for anything. Everything's perfect. Guess what? It's boring. And you don't appreciate it as much. I find that the things that I encourage people about, whether it's in person, on here, are the things that I had to fail. I had to have scary moments. I had to cry through. I had to hurt through. Those are the things that I'm most happy to share. And it's not to brag. And it's not to make it like, oh, I'm a superwoman or nothing. It's just prove that, one, there is a God. And then two, it's to prove that if you really want it bad enough, you'll keep going. No matter how hard the road is, no matter how many cuts and bruises you get, no matter how many tears you cry, you'll keep going. And those are the things that just settle in my heart. And no matter how many other things happen around me, if it's easy, meh. If someone asks, oh yeah, I've done this and it wasn't bad. But if it was something I had to keep on working at, keep on getting back up, fall down, get back up, fall down, get back up. Those are the things I'm like, let me tell you about this time in my life that I did this. These are the things that I'm more excited to talk about, if that makes sense. We always talk about failure as something bad. Stop looking at it as something bad. Because if you be honest and you think about the stories that you tell, you talk about, you may tell a family member or friend or whomever something that happened in your life, whether it was you getting married and it was a difficult journey, or maybe it was expensive, but you didn't know how you was going to do it, or just finding that person, or, you know, you may be talking about, you know, changing states, moving, having kids, you know, being a single parent, whatever it is. Those are the stories you're going to be more excited to tell people about when you make it to the other side, when you make it to, I know how to do this now. I'm moving pretty good through this. I get it. I know what I'm doing now. I have an idea now. You know, and that's always room for growth, but now I'm not failing at it. Now I don't feel like I'm drowning in it. Those are the things that you are more excited and just you just feel so much more, you feel more blessed for it. I mean, yeah, we're blessed for everything that we have, but something about those times when you fail and you get back up and you fail again, and that same thing, and you get back up and you fail again, and it may happen 10, 20 times, but when you get back up and you finally get it, those are the things that you just like, let me tell you about it. Those are the things that you hold near and dear to your heart, because it's something that you know that you had to go through pain and suffering and, you know, giving up something, sacrificing things to get to the other end. It ain't those things that you just woke up and it's like, oh, I woke up and things were great, that you are so proud of. It's the moments where failure was involved. Those moments where people didn't think you can do it. You didn't even think you can do it, and you did it. Those are the times that you're most proud. So don't look at failure as something bad. I'm sure I talked about this before. Don't look at failure as something bad to the point where it stumbles your growth. Because when things are hard, those are the best things to go after. Because as believers, if you are a believer in whatever faith you have, you know that when you're on track to doing what you're supposed to do, when you're getting towards that goal of the things that God has for you, that's when Satan steps in and he's trying to destroy, and he's trying to make it so hard for you so you'll turn around, and that's what he wants you to do. Am I wrong? Everything that's worth having is worth fighting for, and you're going to have to fight the fight, and in that fight, it's going to be failure. In that fight, you're going to have thoughts of, maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe this is not for me. Maybe I make the wrong decision. I can't get it. I don't understand it. But the more you try, the stronger you get. The more encouraged you become. And then over time, you'll start to notice that you do a little bit more, you learn a little bit more. You do a little bit more, you learn a little bit more. You failed. But then you learn, you have lessons along the way, and then you put those lessons towards that failure, and you try again, and you're better each time. It may take baby steps. Some of us can fail, and then boom, you know, we off. We 10 steps ahead. But some of us fail, we have to take one baby step at a time. Keep on trying, keep on trying. And then before you know it, you're even better than the people who knew how to do it before you. But you have to be willing to do the work. You have to be willing to fail to learn. Because if you had everything right the first time, you would never have room for growth. You'll just be mediocre. Wherever you came into the situation, that's where you would end. Because you haven't failed. You haven't had to rethink your strategies. You haven't had to rethink the way you were doing things. You hadn't had to restart the process. So yes, failure should be so welcomed. Welcome it. Because it's always going to show you where you need to grow in, you know, the areas that are kind of weak that you need to focus on. And it's always going to point you into the direction that you need to be headed. It's always going to show you the things that you need to be most focused on to be successful. The things you have to work hardest at. And you'll appreciate those failures once you reach the goal that you're trying to reach. I hope I'm making sense to y'all. But yes, that's my little pep talk about failure being important for success in anything you do. Anything. Now let me know what you think in the comment box below. Leave your positive, motivational, inspiring comments, because we're not here to judge anybody or make anybody feel dumb or feel less than just because they're doing something a different type of way as you or they think differently than you. Just leave your own advice in a positive way so that someone can look at that and maybe look at it from a different perspective. But be positive and courteous, because someone like myself is reading your messages, and we come to this channel to grow and to get through this thing called life. So y'all, let me know what you think in the comment box below. Add to it, please. I know there's so much more to say. I know y'all got a lot to say, because I have a lot to say, but I don't want to make the video too long. So leave your comments and we will keep the conversation going, and talk next time. Bye.